This is the one in Eagle Pass, and we'll go through it and just I'll hit you up. Easiest way to figure out net operating income.
Yes.
This is stuff you need, right? So you got the 10 by 10s and the 10 by 20s, and this particular deal is a possible. Would it be a value add? I guess we could, right? But then I did have a weird question because I was thinking if we wanted like to increase these from 90 to 115, like we talked about, how do you do that? I mean, are they locked into like a lease? How does that work?
Yeah, well, remember the beautiful benefit is that these are month-to-month leases, so we can change the rental rates at any time.
Are you serious?
But in the state of Texas, all we have to do is just give them 30 days notice.
Okay.
But after that, they have the choice to stay and pay the higher rent or move out.
Oh, interesting. So would you do that on these if we took this down and say, look, instead of the 90, move it to 115? Or do you think there'll be a lot of people that are going to say, hey, I'm out of here?
Normally, anytime we're going to take a new property, it's better to assess where we are, what's the market, and get to hear the customers, because the number one in storage, like any other business, some owner-operators don't understand the maximum values because they don't listen to the clients.
Would you do like a play? There's a new owner that wants to fix a couple of things and maybe put a new gate and some cameras and this and that. So, we just want to give you a heads up, would you consider staying if there was cameras? Is that a benefit to you? But we may raise the price or something, and then do you ask them first like a survey, or do you just like hit them with a letter?
We can do both, but the survey is a good approach because remember, people like to be treated well. They like to be listened. If they're renting here, as you see some of the moving dates from the 80s, anybody who's still renting from 1986, there's a reason why they stay here. They don't go to other properties. So we want to listen to them, offer them a few choices, or asking them if a new company is taking the management, what would you like for us to do? What is important for you?
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
You'll be surprised. Sometimes it's very simple remedies, cleaning up cameras, LED lighting. Sometimes could be lighting inside their units.
Oh, that's true.
Okay. And that is a simple fix. They have to give us permission, right? Once they lease the unit, they control the inside. We only need to have access authorized by them for repairs.
Okay, got it.
But lighting inside the unit is more electricity, but how long it goes, customer loyalty.
All right. No, I get you.
I mean, installing a lighting inside the unit is a very small repair. It is a capital expense, of course, but how much satisfaction, ownership, and longer stay will have from the customer, I think the return is going to be unlimited.
Okay, it'll pay for itself over and above. Okay, so I noticed some of these have deposits and some don't. Why is that? So I'm saying like $30 deposit, no deposit, $30, $30, $30.
When people move in, if they have a deposit similar to residential, you have some kind of funds for making few repairs to make it equal, and you can deduct whatever repairs from that deposit. The other benefit is for us as buyers. Remember, anything that the owner has right now, we're going to get a credit at closing.
Oh, interesting. Okay, that's true.
So this is less capital we have to bring for these deals because we're going to get a credit on the HUD statement as the buyers.
Okay, and we should probably add up all that stuff possibly too, just to
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, if you do 97 units times 30 is almost what? 97 units
$30
times 30 is
2,900.
Yeah, almost $3,000. Yeah.
Okay, but I noticed some of them have zero. Why is that?
You don't have to charge deposit. It's a choice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not mandatory like in single family homes is. Like you want to have a deposit for cleaning the carpet or do some repairs after the tenant is moving out.
I noticed some of these are old, like 715.
I mean, what can you damage with concrete floors and metal buildings, really? I mean, you really have to be a messy person.
Yeah, no, I noticed. Okay, I noticed the ones that are zero, says 2019, 0, 2015. So it's like all the older ones that have been here forever, there's no deposit.
Correct. And the contractual agreement is once they move out, we have to credit that money or reimburse that money to them.
Okay. Then I noticed some of these say foreclosed or pending. What like that means that their units locked up and they owe money and you got to collect and to
Yes.
get rid of
Yes
it.
and yes.
So there's a process for that.
Yeah, once they don't pay, they're gonna be pretty much receiving a notification, email, text, letter, and we can overlock so they don't have access to their unit until they pay. And they're gonna be paying the rent plus a one-time late fee, in this case that we review, $10, and then in this case there's $1 extra per day they're late.
Okay. And on some of these, I noticed there's credits. Why would they get a credit?
Some people get credit if they pay in advance. Some people like to manage their personal budget and say, if I have extra money, I'm gonna pay the next 2-3 months for the storage, so I don't have to worry about that bill for the next 3 months.
All right. And then these foreclosed ones, it says like $330. Is that?
Yeah, in that case, probably it's a cumulative total of the rent,
Oh,
late fees, and past
okay.
due fees. You see that on the T late column, they were
Yeah.
late 3 times.
Okay.
So that probably is the addition of 3 months, but at 100 per month, right? $90 plus a $10 late fee is 100 times
Oh, that's
3,
right.
330.
Okay, gotcha.
We don't have to wait that long as new operators. Anytime
Mhm.
that late more than a few days, they're overlocked. And
Yeah.
after the 30 days, there's a procedure in each state. Instead of Texas, you have to do certified letters just to notify them that the unit's gonna be auctioned off.
Okay.
They can bid and buy back all the belongings,
Mhm.
but that will have to be equal of the rent past due and all the late fees. Plus, there's usually other additional fees for doing the auction.
So a couple of things that you said that are okay, and some value add things. What we talked about on this particular property, right, which is obviously in Texas. The good thing about it is that it has the occupancy, so that's important, right? And if they're not fully occupied, that's even better. Would you say, or no?
If it's not fully occupied, it's better because we'll have the chance to come in and do the repairs
Mhm.
and capture most likely a higher rental rates that the sellers are doing
Without having to. Oh, well,
without
okay. Okay.
yeah, without any major renovation, just a simple cleanup and make the units presentable for new clients. But that's a big part of the sweat equity model. If you have a property like the ones I purchased in the past with 35% occupancy, anytime you reach that to more than double, let's say 85 or higher to be stable,
Yeah.
that's where you capture, you know, tens of thousands of dollars in higher market value because you're going to be increasing the NOI. And
Right.
if you increase the NOI, you increase the market value by default. So it could
Okay.
be 10, 20, 40,000, 100,000, could be $1 million. It depends on the deal size.
Okay. And like the one that you showed me that you had, that you actually own that, right?
Yeah, that one we acquire about 40% at the purchase. We increased that to more than 85. Actually, the average has been 95%.
Mhm.
That's where you capture the equity. We have more than 3 times higher value 7 years later.
Awesome. And that's something that could be done with this.
This one probably not so high, but there's gonna be a higher equity. I would say on the conservative side, we can increase anywhere between 45 to 50%,
Okay.
and a
Yeah.
very relatively short term. I would say 3 years.
Gotcha.
Conservative. It could be done before because it's performance based.
Yeah.
But I would say 50% increase in market value 3 years is doable based on my experience in the Texas market.
Wow, that's pretty good. That's crazy.
Very good. You can never do that with a house, right?
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, there's like, wow, that's not like the numbers. Even like a business, right? I mean, you got so much fat on a business and stuff. It's like some people are happy. Hey, can I get a 5-10% increase in revenue if you really do some crazy stuff to make it happen? And doing that with this, where there's not much freaking work to do. I mean, you know what I mean? It's just like you said, simple management and maintenance over the years, and then being smart about increasing the revenue where you can. I guess that's where, like, the little
Yeah,
secret
the
tips
advantage in this
come down
case
the
is
wire.
having the higher occupancy is going to open the door for more options in terms of financing, right? Because
Okay,
if
yeah.
you go the traditional route with banking financing, the SBA loves the self-storage many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, you know that right now the interest rates are so high.
Yeah.
So you have to do the math and see what is the maximum loan to value for this deal. So
Mhm.
you can have a positive cash flow because the interest rate for a typical SBA loan right now is very high, between 8 to 9%. So you have to consider that before taking that route.
So the numbers here.
Let's do the number here. Yeah.
Okay.
The numbers
So
have no feelings. They never lie. So that's what I love about storage.
awesome. All right. So what will we put here for the facility price?
What I like to do is walk you through the process on how to do like a napkin.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Can you share that with me?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's walk you through the steps.
All right, cool.
So the first thing is the exciting side of the income, right? The revenue.
All right. Yeah, the revenue. Gotcha.
So in this case, let's take a look on what is the unit mix, meaning how many units we have, what are the unit sizes, and how much is the seller charging the rental rates for each unit type. We have two type of units. We have the 10 by 10s, where the sellers is charging $70
Yep.
for a total of 46 units. And then we
Right.
have the other half, 46 units for 10 by 20, and the seller is charging $90 on each one of those.
Right. Okay.
And in this case, we see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are the different buildings. And this is nice to have. Sometimes smaller sellers are not that organized. So it's always nice to use some kind of template to have the numbers very clear and easy to understand.
Okay. So then I think when we added up the 70, we had like 3322. Is that correct?
Yes.
It was. So we had to, and then we had on the 90 square foot or the 10 by 20s, it was 4140
Correct.
for a total of 7360, I believe.
Correct.
So then that would be
go ahead.
And what is that? That's the gross what's the acronym?
That's a GPI, the gross
There you go.
potential income, or
Okay.
is also called GPR, gross potential revenue. It is the
Oh.
same.
Okay, so GPI or GPR. Okay, so then we take that gross I guess GPR, GPI, and then we do what?
So this is on assuming 100% occupancy at the existing rental rates, which is nice to have, but that's not real.
Okay.
So for underwriting and evaluation quick purposes, let's deduct 15% vacancy.
15%. So we got to do 70.
Go ahead.
Okay, what we take 15% out?
So we take 15% out, so multiply this GPR times 85%.
Times 85%. We're at 6256.
Correct. That is a net revenue or net income.
Okay.
That is more real to work with, right?
Right. That makes sense. Okay. And that's being conservative, right?
That's being conservative.
Okay. So 6256 net. And then we need to take we need to figure out
for the NOI, the net operating income.
Oh yeah, NOI.
The NOI, net operating income, is the difference in between adding the revenue, which in this case 6,256, minus expenses. A very well managed property should not be spending more than 40% of these net income.
Okay, so does that 40% have like taxes and all that other good stuff in there?
Correct.
Sam and everything.
The property tax is typically the highest cost.
Right. Okay.
And here in Texas is that's the price that you pay for all the economic growth we have here.
Yeah.
And the second largest expense on self-storage property is going to be the insurance policy.
Okay. And we saw that this one was like at $1,400 or something, right?
That a recorder. So I believe the total on the other tab was around 5,900.
Okay, so what do we do with this? The 6256. Now we have our net operating income. Now we need to figure out what expenses.
Yeah, we need to figure out the expenses. So to do really simple math, we multiply these times 60%.
Okay, so we're gonna go times 60. That's not right, huh?
In other words, what we're doing is assuming the 100% of the revenue minus the 40% of the taxes, I mean the expenses, that's gonna be equal 60% remaining. So it's gonna be correct. You're right. 3,753. That's the NOI as it is right now on this calculation, and then multiply these times 12 because this is
Oh,
the
right.
NOI per month, and that's the annualized NOI, net operating income, that we divide by the cap rate. Just to do simple math, let's divide it for 8% cap rate, this asset class in Texas, because the cap rate changes for market. So fair price for this property will be around 563,000, not the asking 800,000.
Okay, so when we take the 3753.60, we're gonna obviously got the expenses and all that good stuff, right? So, and when we're trying to figure out what the actual cap rate is for the purchase of this property, how do we do that? 3753.60
Uh,
0.60. Okay. Now what?
times 12,
Oh, times 12. Okay, times 12.
because this is the NOI per month, and now this is NOI per year.
Okay, gotcha. This is annually. Gotcha. All right.
Really? So we
Yep.
divide always the formula is the same. We divide NOI divided
Mhm.
by the asking price, in this case, 800,000,
Okay, so divide into 800,000.
correct?
Boom, there it is.
And then you multiply it times 100, and that is the asking cap rate. That is the cap rate for this property based on the asking price from the seller. You do that times 100, so 0.0563 times 100.
There
That
it is.
is the cap rate based on the asking price.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Gotcha. That makes
So
sense.
normally, to give an idea, the cap rate changes based on the asset class, class A, class B, class C, and also based on the
Oh,
market.
wow. Okay.
So in Texas, for a property like this, that is more like a class C, right? Because it's old property, but still has good bones.
Okay.
We're more on the range of the 8% cap rate. So obviously the asking price is too high for this
Mhm.
type of. So
Okay.
we have to open a conversation to see where we can meet in the middle, or gather more information to have actual expenses and see how do we do that. Because just by anytime we reduce the expenses, each dollar that the expenses go down, that will increase the NOI, and by increasing the NOI, the net operating income, that's gonna by default increase your market value,
Interesting.
and that's gonna increase our equity, and that's the ultimate goal. We have equity and we
Yeah.
have cash.
Wow. Okay. That makes sense.
Mhm.
Alrighty. So where do we go from here?
So from here, we go back to the income and expenses.
Okay. Boom. There it is.
If we move to the left, we'll see the numbers that we were discussing: the gross potential rent
Okay.
minus the vacancy or occupancy, either way, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Economic occupancy is the
Yeah.
opposite of the physical vacancy, but it's the same terminology,
Okay.
just the opposite side. So in this case, they are using a higher gross income that we have, because there might be some units they're charging more than
Mm,
the $90 for the 10, 20 unit size, and there could
right.
be units they're charging more than the $70 for the 10 by 10 unit size.
Okay. Got it. So we got our
Um,
okay.
these are then, like I said, that give us from 88 the net or EGI, effective gross income, or net gross income is the same terminology for the same number. So EGI in this case, effective gross income, is 80,000.
Okay.
Then we talk about the higher on the expenses side is the property tax, is real estate taxes, is 6,700. So there are things probably more expenses in California. Welcome to Texas. Property
Yeah.
taxes very high,
Right. That's true, man.
but that's a trade-off for having a very healthy economy that supports these type of properties and the
Okay.
cash flow. The next expense is the insurance policy. That
All right.
sounds like a little higher. So there, that's where our knowledge on professional brokers specialized in commercial properties usually can bring value that way. If we
Okay.
just negotiate with a different broker and a different insurance company for that property, we can lower the expenses that we do for this item per year. That will increase the NOI, that will increase the market value, and by default, our equity.
Okay, so all those little things actually are things that should be done. Those are things that people probably won't think about, I would imagine. And if you do them, then it's like I don't know. It seems like magic, but not really, right?
But it's a very typical, human beings are creatures of habits. And think
Yeah.
about, when was the last time that you were shopping for a cheaper insurance for your
Right.
car?
Yeah. No, you don't think about it. You don't care because it's not making you any money.
You set it and forget it. And here, we have a different approach because
Yeah.
every dollar that we save
Okay.
is gonna go increase in the NOI. And in this case, somebody with more knowledge than the average is
Yeah.
projecting on year one the expenses to go into a higher level of 50% of the EGI, right? The effective gross income. Why? Because they're gonna be hiring some management.
Oh, gotcha.
Let's say somebody in your group in California would love to enter in this asset class and
Yeah.
also excellent market in Texas.
Right.
So they need somebody boots on the ground to manage this property for the new owner.
Allocated for increased taxes, insurance, utilities, just a bit. Repairs and maintenance, yes, they put that. I see they added that, and then admin, right? Got to add a little bit of admin, a little higher, and then you got offsite and onsite management.
Correct. Usually third parties have some kind of office regional located.
Yeah.
And they're going to have some specific boots in the grounds at your property.
Okay.
Because even with all the technology, somebody has the checks and the money to deposit in the bank account. And then
okay.
They will have to walk the property, check for things that need repair, maintenance, for safety reasons, for operational reasons. So it's always good to have somebody walking the property on a regular basis.
Awesome. Is that like a pro tip?
That's a pro tip. And also think about, in this case, we have units that need to be cleaned up. So
all right.
Rent them out, and that is also going to increase the revenue.
Okay. And you're going to need a body for that, obviously.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, AI is not going to move the trash out of the units, and AI is not going to take the money deposited in the business bank account, right? Somebody has to do it.
Right. Yeah, that's where Elon Musk wants to, have robots doing that stuff, right? So miscellaneous, what is that like? Oh no, that's for advertising and marketing. 900 bones. Is that like a month or a year? That's a year.
That's a year. I mean, you'll be surprised how simple it is to operate this type of properties.
Okay.
And there are another pro tip aggregators of information. Specific for this industry is called sparefoot.com.
Sparefoot.com.
So sparefoot.com, think about the similar to Expedia and Kayak for traveling.
Oh, wow.
You can shop around for trips, rental cars, and hotels.
Okay.
Sparefoot.com give the consumer, the potential clients, the benefit of just searching online by zip code and unit sizes, how much are the rents on one specific area.
Oh, wow. Okay. So Sparefoot.
Yeah, typical demand is people looking for storage is close to work, close to home.
Oh, wow.
Moving between bigger homes, smaller home, apartment to a house, house to apartment. So they're going to be usually searching in a 3 and a 5 miles radius.
So do you have to advertise on that, or is it free?
You have to pay a fee, just like any type of advertisement.
Yeah.
And you can also do that on short-term basis. You don't have to do it for a long time. Maybe you do it for a short time when you needing to increase the occupancy. Okay.
So then we're looking at total expenses, and then we're looking at net operating income, the NOI. And of course, these are just preliminary numbers, right? Because obviously, you're gonna have to underwrite this and go forward with the different numbers, which is what you do.
Correct.
Anything else we need to wrap up here, or are we good?
Well, in this case, you see that the year one, which is typical for any kind of added value play, there are many moving parts and changes. So we have to have a longer buying whole term to get the best benefits. So in the year
Gotcha.
one, it's not too bad to have a 49%
Mm-hmm.
above 40% that we discussed before.
Oh,
And
really?
it could be typical because it's a short-term changes,
Okay.
but as we get more efficient and we start having small rental increases, remember we're leasing these units month to month.
Right.
So anytime we can increase the rental rates,
Okay.
but in state of Texas, you have to have a 30-day notice before you do that.
Got it. Okay.
And you don't want to do everybody at the same time. You want to do it by buildings or small sections as a
Ah.
tip. So you want to increase the revenue, but
Yeah.
also keep the physical occupancy high at the same time.
Got it, man. Okay. So I probably shouldn't say this, right? But that's kind of like the government, how they slip stuff in little by little. So you don't even recognize it?
If it sounds familiar, yes, it is.
Okay. All right. No,
So
but that's smart. I like that. That sounds like another pro tip. Don't do it all at once. Can everybody start talking? Hey, what's up? What's going on here? Let's go down the street with Joe Blow, and they got, they're $10 cheaper.
yeah, you be careful on some of the other companies. I don't like to mention names, but I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure most people know them. They have some marketing deceiving tactics where they tell you free rent or $1. So you always have to look at a small footprint on the contract
Okay.
because you might not pay upfront, but be careful because once you move in, I mean, who likes to move?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Yeah.
And
It's
if you
pain in
move
the ass.
yourself inside the unit in the 100-degree summer in Texas, you don't want to do that again.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. I'm already
And
hearing horror nightmares already.
I mean, it's a long day. You're exhausted. You want to go back home and have a shower.
Right?
And then if you don't read that small footprint on the contract, you might pay $1, but be careful because maybe 1, 2 months later, you're
Yeah.
gonna pay a higher rent, and nobody wants to do that, especially thinking about moving that twice.
Okay. Got it.
Not a smart move. So be aware any potential consumer out there.
Right. It's not as smart as some people think. Just to save $10, it's going to be a nightmare. Get it? Okay.
Correct.
All right. So take care of the customers and do what you say you're going to do and respect them, and they'll stick around for a longer period of time. It sounds like, if that's the game. So anything else we miss here?
Well, in this case, everybody thinks about this industry in their own business model. My model
Yeah.
is to have that enough good service and rental rates just underneath the average. So you have a higher occupancy than typical of your competition.
Yeah.
But at the same time, don't be lazy and always keep doing your homework, shopping for better insurance because that insurance needs to be renewed every year. And
Mm-hmm.
in case the insurance goes up, and typically does, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And as the higher market value goes, estimated by the local municipalities in a county, it
Okay.
will go in the same way for the property taxes that you pay. Unfortunately, it's the
Right.
cost of doing business.
Yeah.
But I would like to keep somewhere around that 40%, 50% on, if possible,
Mhm.
the expenses compared to the gross, the effective gross income.
Okay. Gotcha. That makes sense. All
But
right.
that's how it all happens. I mean, this is a industry where it's very predictable, repetitive. You do a good work, you treat people nice, you have a clean facility, good illumination, always ask for the survey once you take over. That's going to guarantee high occupancy, happy customers, and that's how the whole business model comes. We can buy these at just under the market price and then reevaluate in the future.
Okay. So let me ask you this: says facility rehab. Would you do 25,000 in rehab to this or no?
Not necessarily. It's always good to have a reserve for capital expenses if needed as we go in as new operators, new owners.
Right.
But probably I would address what's available and what people are asking for. A typical very low cost of rehab and very high customer satisfaction value is adding security cameras and good LED illumination throughout property.
Oh, gotcha. And that's not gonna obviously, those are smaller costs. So
So
if I
yeah,
change this to 750, obviously we'll have some different numbers here, right?
Correct. I would say that somewhere around to make a decent number, meet in the middle, or some further evaluation of the numbers to
Hmm.
see what fair price will be on the LOI. And on the rehab, I think that sounds very reasonable, more like a 5,000
Hmm.
initial rehab and maybe some small allocation for maintenance and repairs as you move forward.
Okay, gotcha. Will that look okay, maybe, or no?
Yeah, that'll be more in realistic what it is, and now we see more within the market average, 8.9 cap rate going in at purchase. That
Hmm.
will make everybody feeling more comfortable, right? Anybody
Right.
who's in your group, the mentees and
Hmm.
learning real estate, it's the same principle as single family homes, right? We're gonna build some equity at the moment we buy, and
Hmm.
we will get paid in this case long term from the cash flow, or when we reposition the property, higher
Right.
market value in the next 3 years.
Okay.
And probably this property can go up to 1.2, and you do the difference, and that is a nice payday.
We just go through that simple underwriting process, and then
Yeah, I'd be happy
bring them down the
to.
wire so you can evaluate them.
Yeah, we can go over into more specific details, but all this is basically the same exercise that we should do when we consider evaluating deals.
Okay. And then when we get all said and done, it should have a nice juicy website like this.
Yes, exactly. I mean, this is a template. I'm not a very high tech guy, but just the best picture of property I still own and operate
Awesome.
since 7 years.
Okay.
And it's easy storage solutions, software company specific for self storage. So it's mobile friendly. People can take a look at prices on your cell
Oh,
phone device.
okay.
You can pay rent. You can shop around for units, see the sizes, the prices. In this case, I only have one size. They're all pretty much same size and same price.
Okay.
And it's very easy as an owner operator to manage your property from your cell phone.
Really? So you
Yeah.
manage this thing from your cell phone, man?
Yeah, over here I have no office. I have part-time people that I've been training over the years.
Yeah.
And when somebody calls or somebody send an email,
Hmm.
I do the whole process remotely over the phone.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome, man. So stuff like this, I'll go ahead and gonna put this in the can, brother. And I appreciate it, Mr. Al, for sharing all this good stuff. And like we said, we're gonna do some more inside of the Facebook group, and we'll go more in depth with some pro tips. Some of it will be shared with just mentees and me, some of your people, and then leave all the truth and all the juicy golden nuggets and pro tips. I know you're in storage, you do family banking, what else? Multifamily, awesome things that you've actually done some syndication stuff, right?
Absolutely, yeah. This is a wonderful business, and it's nice to open opportunity for people that don't have the time or don't have the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much building a team together is a very nice feeling to put these deals under contract, increase the revenue, increase the cash flow, and then that generates enough profits to share with the participants on each project. It's a nice feeling.
Awesome. And that's kind of what you've been doing for the last decade or so?
Almost a decade, yeah. Times goes
Awesome.
fast when you're having fun, but it's a very repetitive, process. I tell people it takes time, it takes work, but this is a very safe asset class. Even with economic crazy times that we have right now, these properties survive, like the storm Harvey when the whole city was flooded.
Yeah.
No problems, knock on wood over here. It's a good business model and it's economic resilient with
Uh-huh.
recession times as we
Right.
right now. Share this video with some of the other people that you might have some interest in. Very
Okay.
happy to work together.
It is exciting stuff, man, and learning these things and little pro tips and golden nuggets that make sense that differentiates everybody else to what you're doing, right? And I think that's why we connected and stuff is because like, hey, I do the sub two buyouts and stuff, and you've went that kind of route, and we want to jump on board and talk about that stuff and share it with others. And what you're doing here is awesome too. And I know that we're talking about doing some bigger and better stuff.
It's nice when you have the business model is a repetitive discipline. It's a win-win all across.